watching TVC Breakfast. Besides fighting corruption, President Muhammadu Buhari has pledged his administration's determination to rid the country of insurgency and other forms of criminality.
But in spite of his good intentions and commitment to this cause, criminal elements have continued to run wild, a clear indication in the upsurge in banditry in parts of the country. Since the beginning of this year, security agencies have waged the war against bandits. From Zamfara to Katsina, bandits have left a host of casualties in their wake. Grappling for solution and an end to the insecurity in their region, security forces in Zamfara State had to reach some kind of peace deal with bandits. The pact would see an exchange of captives, and already more than 30 abducted persons held captive for weeks by bandits have been released to security forces. Well, joining me via Skype from Abuja is security expert, Group Captain Sadiq Shehu, retired. Thank you for joining us on TVC Breakfast. Now, there's been a growing concern when it comes to the cases of banditry, the rise in cases of banditry across the country. For you, what is at the heart of this recent increase that the country is witnessing?
Well, thank you very much for having me. If you ask me, I would say there are, a collection of factors that is leading us to see what with this. At the top of it, let's look at who are these bandits that are being caught. With specific reference to Zamfara, Kaduna, or Katsina, if you take a survey of all those people that are being captured, they are young men, mostly in generality. I can say up to 90%. They are youths between the ages of 20, 25. Hardly you will get somebody above 30 among these groups. So what are we saying? We are identifying a certain, segment of the society that are involved in this, youths. So you can equate this thing with youth restiveness. And what causes youth restiveness? So many issues like poverty, lack of education, like lack of livelihood, like loss of hope. Some of the clips that we get from this Fulani youths, you hear what they are saying, you see a disgruntled segment of the society. So that is at the root cause of this something. We still have to look at youth restiveness, the kind of, lack of hope that they have lost. They cannot see how they will get some livelihood without going into these crimes. Having said that, in the past 2-3 weeks, yes, the operation, operation Puff Adder and other operations, definitely we cannot ignore that some certain successes have been made in terms of arrests. All right, like
before we get to the level of successes made, now the government has tried to bring up certain measures to perhaps curb the activities of bandits. It banned the use of motorcycles and even stopped activities of mining in Zamfara. Yet we still see the activities of bandits.
Exactly, that is the point I'm making. The problem is still with us. But what I am saying, or what I was about to say before you stopped me, is the fact that in the last, we can say, couple of weeks, we have seen some flashes of successes. I say flashes of success because while the police and the military and other security agencies have been able to make some arrests or to rescue some people, in the generality, the issue of kidnapping or bandit attack has not stopped. We still saw, within these same 3 weeks, we still saw some people being kidnapped in Kano. We saw bandit attacks as far as Niger and other places.
So what would it take to tackle this head on?
I have always said in various fora, in all honesty, the security presence we have is not enough to completely stop these things. And when I say security presence, I'm talking in terms of sheer number to cover the large expanse of forest, which virtually these bandits have made their kingdoms or their households. We don't have enough boots on the ground. We don't have enough penetration to really stop these people. And I think the bandits have realized that. The military could strike, or the security forces or the police could strike in one area, but again, the area is wide. They could move to another area and just...
If we narrow it down to the northeast, for instance, the civilian JTF that we talk about sometimes have been successful in assisting the military agencies in information dissemination and also trying to keep vigilance. That has not really been said of the same with the issues in the northwest, where we have Zamfara and banditry going on. When it comes to collaboration with locals and vigilantes and hunters, how effective would that be?
Well, when talking with government forces, security agencies, law enforcement agencies cooperating with vigilante groups, I want to use the term largely vigilante groups, there are benefits that can be derived. There are also dangers inherent in such an arrangement. The benefits that vigilantes will bring is that they know the local terrain. They know the area, like in Zamfara. Actually, from what I find out, sometimes even finding the confines, penetrating into the deep recesses of where these bandits are, will be a problem for a policeman or soldier that is being taken to that area for the first time in his life. He is not a native of that area. A bandit will be able to navigate. They know where the local rivers are because there are some seasonal waters around there. They know how to penetrate these areas. They actually know, in collaboration with the traditional rulers, where some of these bandits are because they are actually local people. That is the benefit on the one hand. On the other hand, there could be vicarious liability if this vigilante groups, whether it is in the northeast, whether it is in Zamfara, whether it is in Katsina State, should they use some extrajudicial methods? Should they, involve themselves in using children in carrying out their task or arresting children and women? Then there could be vicarious liabilities to the federal forces or even the federal government itself. So this is the issue. On the one hand, they can bring advantages of local knowledge to the operations of the security forces. A policeman, an ordinary policeman probably is going to Zamfara for the first time. He doesn't know how to penetrate. But on the other hand, again, I said there is this danger of vicarious liability should these vigilante groups stray and use. And to be honest with you, in military history or in security history, there have been areas where these vigilante groups have derailed and become a source of security themselves.
All right.
What is the solution?
As it is right now,
Sure that yes.
yes, as it is right now, government and the security agencies seem obviously overwhelmed by the challenges of security in the north and even parts of the country. What options are left to the security agencies and even government?
Well, the options, like I always say in many fora, in all honesty, the issue of Nigeria's security architecture is something that has been neglected over the years. We have not really, refashioned or addressed our security to the current challenges. And since it is something that has been neglected for over many years, again, there has to be a multi-year plan on how we can bring our security architecture to be at par with the current security challenges. It is going to take 1 year. It's going to be even beyond one government. So, but instead of doing ad hoc, we should have a multi-year plan, starting with what do we now? We have short-term, medium-term, and long-term measures. Where do we want, for example, our security forces? Here I'm talking in general, the military, the police, the SSS, civil defense, all the people that contribute security. Where do we want them to be in the next, let's say, 5 years, for example?
Okay.
Then we can start drawing a plan. And then consistency. Because in Nigeria, people, abandon programs when a new government comes. That is where we start. Again, to solve the immediate problem, yes, using these vigilante groups, they have to be trained. They have to be at least given some awareness on rules of engagement, on human rights issues, on this. Because for Zamfara, what I gather is that some of what they call Ensakai, that's the local name. These vigilante groups, in every area, they have their names. But in all, they are just vigilante groups. The NSAK arrested some people since April 19, if I'm sure, until they released them now. Now, they said there are women and children. For me, who is interested in security as well as human rights and international law issues, there could be a problem where these vigilante groups will arrest people like that.
Okay. We have to leave you here now. Group Captain Sadiq Shehu retired. Thank you so much for lending a voice on this and giving us some insight. Thank you.